Welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. It's Thursday, which can only mean that we're here to discuss the latest in professional wrestling. I'm Jez, joined by Dan as usual.
Me.
And we've got a WrestleDream happening.
A WrestleDream, yeah, we'll discuss whether it was a dream or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, it certainly wasn't a nightmare, but was it a dream? That is really the question.
We'll come to that at the end.
Yeah. So I'm the champ. I decided to have a bit of a wear of the belt today, and I'm already regretting it because my shoulder's already hurt and it's heavy. So I'll wear it a little bit and then I'll hang it up behind me. But
yeah,
that's me out of the way. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a pretty good week. Went to see some wrestling last Sunday.
Some wrestling? Unheard of. What did you go to see?
I went to go see Revolution Pro Wrestling in Southampton, nearby me. Very good. Highly recommend it. Definitely go have a watch.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Rev Pro, and I guess I kind of saw Rev Pro because they were in charge of Royal Quest last year, and there was a bunch of Rev Pro guys wrestling, and it was set up by them. It was their ring and all that kind of stuff. So I've technically seen Rev Pro, but it was New Japan, really.
But they've got an event this Saturday, I think. I think it's in Doncaster.
In Doncaster, Doncaster Dome, where I've seen wrestling before. Yeah,
and they've got quite a few New Japan wrestlers going there and wrestling. They've got Ishii, they've got Tanahashi, they've got who else? They've got Gabe Kidd, they've got Zack Sabre Jr., they've got quite a few guys going.
And many more
that I can't remember.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you know why that is possible, don't you? It's also Royal Quest 4 this weekend.
Yeah.
And although we're not really discussing New Japan Pro Wrestling on this show, let's give a shout out to old Zaki Bollocks, our brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion as of Monday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Kind of inevitable, they really set it up as he's going to win the belt and then walk into Royal Quest with it on Sunday. But
sorry, but I think Jeremy has frozen.
Oh, can you still hear me or not?
Now you just get to listen to me, so I can say whatever I want about Jeremy. What should we say about Jeremy? He's frozen, not doing anything, stolen my belt. That's basically it, really. He's fiddling, he's fiddled, he's back.
Can you hear me?
There he is. Look at that face.
You can't hear me. I don't know if you guys
can't even hear him, so...
Right, that one gone.
Everything's gone wrong.
Let me turn this off and turn it back on again. I think you can hear me.
Sound's not working.
Oh, people of the world, but he cannot hear me. Let me just fix that.
I can't hear you, but you are coming through on the stream.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Right, so let's go this one. And can you hear me now? Let's try that one. Can you hear me now?
I could hear you. I could hear you then.
Yeah, hang on.
And you're coming through on the wrong microphone.
I know, yeah. I'm coming through fine for our wonderful audience, but not for you.
Yeah.
And now it's made you sound awful as well. Hang on. Let's close this and reopen it, and then hopefully the right thing will be there. There it is.
This is very professional, ladies and gentlemen.
How's that?
Yeah, that's better now. You're clearer.
That's better. Yeah, I was in mid conversation about Zack Sabre Jr. and I full out kneed the desk and it ruined everything. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
Classic.
Again, we're professional.
Absolutely professional.
Do you want me to do the sponsor while you hang that up?
That's a good idea. Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah? All right, then. So while Jeremy does that, this episode of the Main Event Podcast is sponsored by Goat energy drinks. So go and get yourself a case of their all-natural energy drink in original mango, new mango, Jeremy's favourite of cherry, my favourite of watermelon, which is caffeine-free, which is like what I like. Go get that at goatdrinks.co.uk and enter the code JEZ10 at checkouts for 10% off and free shipping. I would point to the thing. There it is.
I don't know why it wasn't there.
It wasn't there, but now it's here.
Have a Joe Hendry head while you're at it.
Thank you very much. We like a Joe Hendry.
Yes, very well read, sir. Did you manage to get your order in for a case of the watermelon?
I have ordered, but unfortunately it's not arrived yet.
No. And, speaking of being professional, I'm not even on the goat tonight because
no,
I needed a glass of wine, really.
Well, there you go.
Fancied some wine. And goat energy drinks don't do a wine, but if they did, I'd probably drink that too. So
you'd buy it and drink it.
So there's an idea for you, goat energy, goat wine. Do it.
Are you listening? You better be listening.
That is good wine. That's definitely good wine. Right. Yes. I mean, everyone else heard me talk about New Japan, so I don't think I need to repeat that again.
No.
Like, congrats to Zach.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in more detail going forward as we look at Royal Quest and some other things probably next week.
Yeah. Shall
we crack on with AEW WrestleDream?
And we'll see if it's a dream.
Yes. Right, let's start with the pre-show. I will say, for the championship, the score coming into WrestleDream, I was on 50 and Dan was on 47, starting to close that gap in predictions. Pre-show. Brian Cage versus Atlantis Jr. for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Now, I just kept predicting not Atlantis for every single event because it just seemed inevitable that he had to lose it at some point.
Yeah.
And you decided that this was the show where you were going to be like, no, they're not taking it off him. So I'm gonna go for Atlantis anyway. How did that work out for you?
Not very well.
Not very well. No. Did you at least enjoy the match, despite getting the prediction of it cataclysmically wrong?
It was okay.
I would go so far to say it was the best match on the pre-show.
What else did we have?
We had Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. We had the Acclaimed versus MXM, and we had the conglomeration against Dark Order and the Premier Athletes.
Yeah. No, I'd go with that.
Yeah, I did like
it's the best of a bad bunch, but
yeah, I did like the Anna Jay Harley Cameron match.
Yeah,
I'm seeing what everyone else is seeing in terms of the way that she's improved from her time in Japan, doing the Stardom equivalent of the G1, basically. And I like Brian Cage as the Ring of Honor Television Champion. I think that's a good fit. Yesterday on Dynamite as well, they've added him to the Don Callis family.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will mean good things for Brian Cage, but he just bounces from stable to stable, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's never really done on his own, has he?
Not in AEW, anyway.
No. It's almost like they don't know what to do with him.
They don't, and it's quite obvious, really. He should just smash through people because he's a giant piece of meat. So
he's just a big dude.
He's a lot of meat with a lot of sideburns, basically. That's Brian Cage in a nutshell. Yeah. I think we can probably roll this into the rest of the pre-show, to be honest with you, rather than talking about it individually. The women's match was all right, as I said.
Yeah.
I wanted to enjoy the Acclaimed and MXM collection, and I enjoyed seeing Rico again.
Yeah.
That was probably before your time, was it? Billy and Chuck and Rico.
Yeah, I didn't see him, but I know of. So.
Yeah, so it was nice to see him again. I feel like it would have been better if they'd have turned it into a trios match and actually had Billy Gunn and Rico mix it up. They could have even dusted off Chuck Palumbo if they even know where he is right now.
Why not?
He's out there riding a motorcycle somewhere, I'd expect, because that's what he does. And then, yeah, I think the weakest of these matches was the 8-man tag team match. It just didn't need to be there, and it wasn't announced. It was the only match on the pre-show that wasn't pre-announced. It just happened.
Yeah.
So it's the only match of the whole night that we haven't predicted. But yeah, overall, usual kind of pre-show fare.
Yeah.
I don't know that the pre-shows do anything to get people to buy the pay-per-views,
No.
to be honest. I feel like they're doing them wrong. I mean, WWE are doing a much better job. They're not even having matches on the pre-shows anymore to entice you in. But yeah, pre-shows, man, it's just not bother. Just get rid of them.
The 0 hour that isn't an hour.
Yeah. That doesn't help things either. None of it makes sense. Prediction-wise, so yes, I went for Brian Cage in the first match, and you did not. So that means that I will start as the ones. Yeet. Anna Jay defeated Harley Cameron. I went for Anna Jay. You went for Harley Cameron. So 2 for me. And you stay on Ooses. The Acclaimed versus MXM. We both went for the Acclaimed, so you're finally joining me on the point scale, and you'll get 1. I'll go to 3. And as we said, there was no pre-announcement for the 8-man tag, so we haven't predicted that. So nice little head start for me after the pre-show.
Yeah, you do.
Maybe we shouldn't get rid of pre-shows. They're pretty awesome after all. Next up, we have Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page in Jay White's comeback match, the beginning of his Liv Morgan Revenge tour.
Yes.
I really, really enjoyed this match.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I did as well.
I felt like it was, classic Jay White that we haven't really seen in AEW since he moved over from New Japan.
Yeah.
And it was just a callback to the matches he'd have in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I like Jay White as a babyface. I didn't think I would.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he would be a very good babyface, but he's certainly pulling it off. He's even managed to get, the Guns over as babyfaces. So that's major kudos as far as I'm concerned, because those guys are really unlikable.
Yeah.
I was confused by this being the first match in his Revenge tour, though. This seems like the culmination of it, really. 2 guys who are very much vying to be in the main event picture, in the championship picture.
Yeah.
And they've got it out of the way straight away, and it's made Hangman just look a bit weak, really.
Yeah.
He managed to pull off a win against Swerve, a big win against Swerve.
Yeah.
And then he's just systematically not done very well since. And it's like, weren't you going to go straight for the championship? You seem to be hanging around getting beaten by people that you've already had matches with in the past.
Yeah.
Lying on the floor outside the ring, as far as Dynamite's concerned, which was a random thing. But yeah, I enjoyed the match overall.
Yeah.
Just a question whether it should have happened when it happened.
Further down the line.
Yeah, it should have been. This one should have been the Christian Cage match, I think.
Yeah.
That we had on Dynamite. Exactly the same as it was on Dynamite, just on this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That would have worked for me.
Yeah.
Come to Hangman later. We both went for Jay White. We both pick up a point. I move to 4. You take 2.
Thank you.
Man, that one is a blast from the past. Next up, more women's action. AEW Women's World Championship. Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale.
Meh.
What did you think? Meh?
Meh. It was okay. Didn't see much of it.
No, I don't really like how Willow Nightingale has kind of turned into the jobber for the stars, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was obvious that Mariah May was going to walk away with the win in this one. That I'm not questioning that Willow Nightingale should have beaten her by any means, but at some point, other than beating Chris Statlander, someone who has not been world champion, could we not throw Willow a bone? She's one of the homegrown AEW talent. I know Mariah May kind of is as well, although you could argue that she was built in Japan more so than in AEW. But are we going to get there with Willow at some point, or are we just going to keep feeding her to whoever the top woman
We're
is?
basically going to keep her around as cannon fodder.
Yeah, I feel like she deserves better than that.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah, it came, it went. Mariah May's cool. We like Mariah May. I feel like she's doing a really good job as champion.
Yeah.
Her comments on the press conference afterwards, where it's like, who can beat me? Who they keep feeding me people, and I just keep knocking them down, and it's kind of true. I don't know where this will go.
Who's left?
Probably only Tony Storm that's going to be able to dethrone her, right?
Yeah, who's... I'm trying to think if there's any female wrestler who's out of action at the moment that could do like a big comeback thing.
There isn't really. They've had them return recently, like Britt Baker.
What about Ruby Soho?
Yeah, I mean she left to have a baby, didn't she? So
that's true. So
she's got some time before she considers coming back.
She can be,
And she never really hit that well with the AEW audience for whatever reason. Like, it wasn't the same level of stardom that she received in WWE.
No.
So yeah, and anybody that you wanted to be a big Impact signing has just debuted on NXT in the last couple of weeks. So that's not happening. So Tony Storm or bust, I think, really.
I think that's the only way we're going to go, isn't it?
Prove us wrong, Tony Khan. Find someone.
Yeah. Unless Saraya comes out of the woodwork. Or Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, I suppose Jamie Hayter's there. Bit of Brit on Brit action.
Yeah.
I don't really rate Jamie Hayter that highly, unfortunately.
No, but I'm just kind of pulling out names.
I'm just spitballing.
Yeah.
So as we said, kind of obvious that Mariah May would walk away with this one. That's why we both predicted that. And I now move to 5 points. Just 5 points, and you will move to 3.
I'm still waiting for you to make a t-shirt of that.
Just 5 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have got a Just 5 Guys shirt.
Yeah, I know you do.
Haven't seen it in a while. Don't know where I've put it. It's probably still waiting to be washed or something. Speaking of waiting to be washed, it's Jack Perry. TNT Championship match as he defended against Katsuyori Shibata. How was that for a segue? Do you like that?
That was a great segue. I like that. I like that.
Just look a bit unwashed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he needs a shower.
It suits his character, but I'm just saying that beard looks greasy as hell.
Yeah.
How did you feel about this match?
I kind of enjoyed it. Mostly because of Shibata. Just Shibata being Shibata.
You're not a big Jack Perry fan in general, or?
I kind of like his gimmick at the moment. When he was, Jungle Boy, I was a bit like, meh, whatever. But now he's kind of gone into this don't give a damn what anyone thinks kind of heel work. I think I am enjoying him. And the fact that he made his TNT title.
That is major kudos, so got to give it that,
But no, Shibata, I like Shibata. Especially when he just shrugs off things from Jack Perry. It was just cool.
Yeah, I feel like this is the kind of matches they should be having for the TNT Championship. Katsuyori Shibata is obviously a very worthy opponent for Jack Perry.
Oh, yeah.
It was a decent match. I feel like Shibata brought the best out of Jack Perry, who himself is no slouch from a technical wrestling point of view. I'm still not really understanding Jack Perry in the Elite. It just that doesn't really fit for me.
It doesn't really suit him, does it?
No, I get that it's because he was anti-authority, anti-Tony Khan because of the whole CM Punk thing, but I don't think he needed to actually be in the group.
No,
supported by the Elite, brought back by the Elite, propped up by the Elite, but didn't have to actually be the Elite.
No.
I feel like he would have fit better in this new, Blackpool Combat Club
Yeah.
That would have been a good fit for him as an outsider trying to destroy it all, to bring AEW down from the inside. Just an idea. You can take of that what you will. But halfway through the card, I feel like that was a decent match and kept the energy going.
Yeah.
Both went for Jack Perry for the win, so I will move to the Motor City on 6, who are debuting on SmackDown this week, incidentally.
Yeah.
And you'll go to 4.
4.
Next. Is there any question that this next match was match of the night, or do we need to debate that?
No, there's no question.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd need to debate that. AEW International Championship, Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Ospreay versus Ricochet.
Ricky O'Shea.
Rick O'Shea. The Irish version of that flippy guy that was in WWE for a while.
Yeah.
The one that was going out with the ring announcer woman.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
His cousin.
Yeah.
From Ireland. Yeah,
his Irish ancestor.
I really didn't like something about this match as much as I enjoyed the match.
Ooh.
Would you like to guess what that was?
No, because knowing you, it could be a manner of things.
That's true, but I feel like a lot of people should be upset with this, and if they're not, then they're doing being upset wrong. The Kyle Fletcher heel turn. It was just so obvious and inevitable, and it just doesn't really make any sense from a story point of view. And it wasn't the only, heel turn on this show that I was like, this is nonsense. Why are we just turning people heel when it's obvious to do so?
For the hell of it.
There's absolutely no foresight going on with a lot of these heel turns. I just don't. He wouldn't. Like, Kyle Fletcher just wouldn't turn on Will Ospreay after everything that he has actually done for him in his life. And certainly not in the manner that he did after weeks of being like, oh, no, I don't want to get involved in this. It's just all that build up for the obvious heel turn. I'm like, okay, well, that was obvious, wasn't it? We saw that coming. And now we're going to have months of, why'd you do it? Oh, because he didn't win a tag team match with me, or he wouldn't join the family again, or some. I don't care what the reason is.
No,
because
it's dumb.
It won't be a decent reason. It'll just be nonsense. So I didn't like that, and it did take away from the whole match for me in general. I do feel like the right person won. It's about time that they gave Takeshita some gold, and the International Championship is absolutely the right championship for him. He's already booked in his first title defense, not in AEW. He's defending it in Scott D'Amore's Maple Leaf Pro against Josh Alexander, which will probably be an absolute banger, as the kids say.
Banger after banger.
Do kids still say that, or is it just?
I have no idea.
Just the next generation.
I'm out of touch.
Fair enough. I'm out of time. I don't even know what song that is, but that is a song. Yeah. It left a bad taste in my mouth, the Kyle Fletcher heel turn, just because it was so obvious. I kind of wanted them to tease it and then it not happen or something. But a lot of this show was absolutely obvious, predictable, and paint by numbers. And I think the fact that 8 matches in, 100% of the matches I've predicted correctly so far, including this one. So I went for Konosuke Takeshita. You went for Will Ospreay to retain. I will go to the Motor City and somewhere else in Michigan.
I'll stay on 4.
You do that. It's a lot easier to say, to be honest.
I went for Will Ospreay because I was thinking they're going to do the heel turn of Fletcher somewhere. Are they going to do it now? Or is he going to help Will win? And this is where my brain went for some reason. He's going to help Will win, and then after the match, he's going to attack Will, and then it's going to set up a feud for the International Championship. That's kind of where my brain went.
I think I would have accepted that a bit more,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. Like, I still wouldn't have been particularly happy with it, but at least that would have been... At least there would have been a self-serving aspect of that from Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
It's like, I've turned on you because I want your belt. That's a more concrete reason than whatever the hell they're going to come up with. They have like he came out on Dynamite and was like, "I'm not telling you yet." And I'm like, that's because nobody actually knows. You haven't.
You don't actually know.
Nobody's
do you, mate?
booked the reason yet, so you can't say it on television.
Yeah.
I just piss poor planning. Don't like it. It's
nonsense.
Moving onwards then. The best 2 out of 3 falls. The Beast Mortos versus Hologram. This match was on the card purely because they were debuting on Fox Sports Mexico. One of many positive international deals that AEW have been able to sign by virtue of WWE moving to Netflix pretty much everywhere. Everywhere that WWE are vacating, AEW are like, "Oh, hi, do you want some wrestling?" And people are like, "Yeah, go on then." And that's what Fox Sports Mexico did. "Oh yeah, all right, we'll keep having wrestling. People watch that, so yes, we'll have some wrestling, please." And this was the first on Fox Sports Mexico, and they're like, "Let's have 2 Mexicans on our Mexico show." Clever.
Right.
Smart.
I
think these are probably 2 of the best Mexican wrestlers that they have available on the roster. And, Tony Khan has got a massive chub for Hologram, so it's hardly surprising that he's found a way to
well, that's because Tony Khan created Hologram.
Yeah,
so
I think he created the mask for Hologram as well. Out of crayons when he was 6. That mask is terrible. Mask, shape, color. There you go.
Oh no, what's he called? He's got Hologram. Let's put a big H on his face.
Why isn't he in like a silver suit that reflects, like with like prisms and stuff?
I don't know.
Or
because they're dim.
Throw a bit of British flair in it. Why hasn't he got a big H on his head? Just salutes thing like that.
Because none of the audience would understand it.
I mean, I would get it, and
we would get it,
and so would the 70,000 people that they have crammed into Wembley over the last 2 years. So that's a big sector of the audience that would be like, "It's a hologram. I get it. It's great." It's just too clever for some people, obviously. Yeah, and we have been raving about the Beast Mortos, or Black Taurus as he was known. We were raving about how he was too good for Decay in TNA, and that he should be really going out on his own. And he did kind of go out on his own, and now he's back in a stable. It's okay. I'm fine with it as long as they keep letting him run through people. And I like his new mask.
That's what he needs to do.
Do you like the new Mortos mask?
Oh yeah, I do love it.
Yeah.
I think he should occasionally change it up. Keep it a bit more fresh. Whereas before in TNA was Impact, it was kind of the same mask every day for many years. It's like, come on, change it up a little bit, mate.
You were just hoping that Tony Khan would get his crayons out, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. I like manitors.
So being that he is the favorite toy at the moment, Hologram was obviously going to win, and we predicted such. So that takes me to a still perfect 8, and you'll move to just 5 points. Don't know if that match needed to be on the main card. I really don't know.
No.
Mixed feelings about the next one for me. Brody King versus Darby Allin.
Go on then.
I predicted Darby Allin. You predicted Darby Allin.
Yeah.
It was obviously going to be Darby Allin. It shouldn't have been Darby Allin. That's my issue here. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that Darby Allin is able to beat a guy like Brody King.
Yeah.
It's like putting a 6-year-old up against a giant. And I know that Darby Allin is very good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He's an excellent wrestler, but when the size mismatch is that great and Brody King is Brody King, I don't feel like Darby Allin should ever beat Brody King. And that was what the situation was coming into this. They were like, yeah, Darby Allin has never beaten Brody King. Like, okay, cool. Let's keep that going. You know? Darby Allin
King should just run through people.
He could be world champion one day, but he still can't beat Brody King, so Brody King is going to keep beating him. Some people just should have other people's numbers, and especially when it's somebody the size of Brody King against somebody the size of Darby Allin. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that Darby Allin won this match.
No.
Especially because they again didn't really have any plans for this other than let's just get Darby Allin to go and have another match where he gets the hell beaten out of him and overcomes the odds.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have him do the thing at the end and then disappear again. He was number one contender for the world title. Then he lost his number one contendership for the world titles. Then he had this match. Now he's back in the world title mix because he tried to help Danielson at the end of the night, and it's just backwards, forwards, left, right, up, down. And let's be honest, they're never going to put the world championship on Darby Allin.
No, it's too much of a health risk.
So, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So what are we doing here? Yeah, and on Dynamite they were like, "Oh, Darby Allin has gone into hiding after the events of Saturday night, but here's him selling autographs with Tony Hawk." I'm like, "Oh my god, guys, have a bit of brain, would you?"
That's the thing with AEW. They don't seem to have a brain, or they have a brain cell. They just share it around.
It's like I totally get wanting to sell this this picture with him and Tony Hawk when he broke his leg and he did the ollie off the leg. It's cool. It's a cool picture, and you're selling the autographs to try and raise money for like skate parks around Northeast America. Cool. I love that. Why are you doing it now? Why didn't you do it on Saturday before all of this happened? Why don't you do it in a few weeks when things are resolved? It's like, no, he's so disgusted with the actions of these guys that he's decided not to turn up tonight. But here's a video of him being really happy about a skate park. Oh my god, idiots. Absolute morons. And all of this kind of feel permeates AEW at the moment. There's such good wrestling happening in the ring, but nothing else is making any sense. There's no coherent story.
It's just not a lot going on up there.
Backwards and forwards between random things and expecting people to just lap it up. I'm sorry, they're not. And the audience numbers are suggesting that things need to change. And I'm worried that there's heads in the sand. And I really want AEW to succeed. I want them to be that alternative, or to even try and compete at the same level as WWE. I want that. I want healthy competition. That's when the wrestling business is at its best, when everyone is on fire. It isn't just one company doing really well and then a bunch of others trying to meet that standard. No, when everyone is on fire, like it was a few years ago when AEW started and they first got rid of Vince, and everything was just cooking.
Yeah.
Now WWE is really cooking, and AEW is just down, with plenty of highlights. Don't get me wrong, but it's just highlights. There hasn't been a coherent from start to finish. Everything makes sense, and everything is logical show for a very long time.
Yeah.
And this match kind of exemplifies that for me.
Yeah.
Well,
we haven't had a Jez rant for a while.
feel like it's not the last tonight, to be honest. Although I say that, let's put a pin in that for just a second while I say we both went for Darby Allin. I moved to 9 points, and you'll move to 6 points.
The Motor City. The City.
Right. I've got to be totally brutally honest.
Oh, God.
Taking the pin out. I got major attrition with this event at this point, and I kind of lost interest and fell asleep. I just did not care at all for the next 2 matches in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
I don't care about Private Party.
No.
I care about Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
But I don't care about the Learning Tree stable and all of that. So that far outweighed any caring about Mark Briscoe and the Ring of Honor Championship. So I just was like, got my phone, just watch some reels. So still, it's still going. Okay, yeah. I just didn't care, and I know that's bad. I'm here, not only watching these things for my own enjoyment, but also to talk about them on this show. But I couldn't bring myself to give a damn. Is that bad?
Do you want to know something?
What?
I'm exactly the same.
I was totally fine with everything that happened before this, but it's like, come on, guys, this is a 13 match show, including the pre-show. I just can't keep interested that long when you give us the Young Bucks and Private Party as the last but 2 match. I'm like, no, this should be the high energy match to really get us blasting into the main event.
Yeah.
And Mark Briscoe and Chris Jericho isn't particularly high energy either.
No.
Both of these matches went for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they gave Darby Allin and Brody King 12 minutes. The women's match was only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The freaking 8-man tag team match on the pre-show was 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And these 2 monstrosities go on for 15 minutes. No wonder I fell asleep. Just, I can't with this booking. I just can't. And again, I want to enjoy these shows. I don't tune in going, I'm going to find every way to nitpick this. No, you just make it too easy. When I can't do it. I can't do it. So I don't really have any notes on either of these 2 matches. Did you have anything?
No, apart from the fact I started actually watching telly. I was watching it on my phone, and then I just found myself sat there with my phone on my coffee table propped up and just watching the telly.
Yeah.
Can't even remember what I was watching.
It's like, please do better. I can't. These shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view. They really should.
I think we need to get the tag team titles off the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
First off.
They're not doing anything for them.
No, they don't need them. They need to just stop being so dumb. And Chris Jericho just needs to grow up.
I just need less Chris Jericho on my television, really, at this stage.
He should start to take a bit more of a backseat role and be more producer backstage.
Or just even managing. Like, if he wants to have his stables like the Learning Tree, and he's just there to prop up guys like Big Bill. I mean, give him a decent name for a start, but Big Bob, that's better. Yeah, I don't know why that's better, but it's still better. And actually just use his star power to make his guys better, rather than he just doesn't need to be an in-ring competitor anymore. I'm sorry, Chris. Not really that sorry. Anyway, I can't talk about these anymore. We both went for the Young Bucks. We both went for Mark Briscoe. So that's 2 points picked up by me, 2 points picked up by you. I moved to 11. You moved to 8. Fortune. Before we go to the main event, and I honestly can't remember at what point on the show this happened, so I've just thrown it in here. We had the return of MJF and Adam Cole. Baby. Not at all what we were expecting from the culmination of their rivalry or the continuance of their rivalry, because now MJF is a heel again. Adam Cole has turned babyface
again.
And the whole Undisputed Kingdom, which was set up to betray MJF, is now not with Adam Cole because they're still heel, but they're not heel with MJF. They're just heel because nobody cares about them. Despite their totally cool, badass music. And Adam Cole's like, I told Roddy I don't need him. I'm like, why? You had one of the best wrestling stories of the last 10, 15 years in this MJF Adam Cole thing, and you've just killed it.
Screwed it.
Not only have you killed it, you've buried it alive, you've covered the ground in gasoline, set it on fire, taken a big dump on it, and then bring in a dump truck full of further dump and just piled that on. You've set that on fire, then you've come in and you've built a house on it, you've burned down the house, demolished it with a wrecking ball, taken another dump on it, and now we're here.
This goes back to what we were saying a minute ago with the bad booking and crap and all that stuff.
But we said it the moment it happened. Why are you turning MJF heel when we still have this thing with Adam Cole pending? Because the betrayal means absolutely nothing now. It's like, of course I betrayed. It's MJF, and he's a scumbag. Article A. He didn't change, see?
But he's our scumbag.
But he's not anymore.
He's not.
He's just a scumbag.
He's just a scumbag.
Because he's turned heel. But he's actually a bona fide scumbag, not the lovable scumbag that they'd made him as a babyface. And, the heel turn was just so that you could try and put Daniel Garcia over. But, that worked so well, didn't it? Because you kept him off television for months because you were worried he was going to jump to WWE. And then when he decided that he wasn't going to do that, you brought him back, took him off, brought him back, took him off, in, out, shake it all about. So that didn't work for him either. Nothing's worked for anyone. And now nobody cares about MJF and Adam Cole.
Bye-bye.
Two of the hottest talents coming out of the first All In 2022. 2023 even. I just can't defend this. And I want to. I just can't defend this booking.
You done?
No, because we've just got the main event to come. And I'm gonna. I can't put my soapbox away yet. I'm just gonna.
Right, go on then.
Just gonna get
crack on.
Right, main event: AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Ended in a technical submission, according to Wikipedia. He's choked out.
Yeah.
The match was 27 minutes. Checks notes: longest match of the night. Longest match of the night. Justifiably. No problem with that. All good there. What did you think of the actual match between the two of them?
Not bad. Pretty good. Kind of enjoyed it. Kind of wanted to see a bit more brutality between them both. Because, come on, Bryan. This guy basically put a plastic bag over your head.
Not even basically, actually.
Well, he basically did. Yes, he did. So he tried to kill you. So I want to see you batter the living hell out of him.
Yeah.
So
why weren't you there with a carrier bag of your own? And I know this wasn't, a no DQ match.
Bryan wouldn't have done that because remember, he's eco-friendly.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You can't
he wouldn't have used plastic.
What would he have used? Like hemp? A hemp bag. Can you choke someone to death with a hemp bag? Is that even possible?
You can breathe through that.
Oh, man. Being an eco-friendly murderer is really difficult. Probably why you don't have that many.
I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest.
What, being eco-friendly or being a murderer?
Both.
Both together and separate.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to murder someone with an eco-friendly material, how would you do that? This becomes a very different podcast if you manage to find an answer to that. But
if you've come across this podcast now and thought you'd have a watch and hear us about how to be an eco-friendly murderer, welcome.
I mean, it would make a great Netflix series. You've heard of Making a Murderer. Now watch Making an Eco-Friendly Murderer.
Perhaps we should do that.
Yeah. What?
Should
murder
we just
someone
do
in an eco-friendly way?
Yes, screw it. Let's do it.
We probably shouldn't plan it on the internet. That seems like a recipe for our plan being foiled by the authorities. But
I really feel like we would do a good podcast of us just chatting shit.
Yeah, isn't that basically what this is? And occasionally, some wrestling.
There's a bit of wrestling. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, yes, I agree with you. There should have been a more brutal element to this. The fact that it wasn't a no DQ match, first of all.
Yeah.
And Bryan Danielson would have had to ask for it because no one in their right mind would say, let's make it no DQ with all of the BCC involvement that's been there over the last few weeks. That's fine. But Bryan Danielson basically saying, when I lose, this is it. He should have been, allow me the opportunity to almost literally murder this dude and it be legal, rather than let's have a great technical match, guy. I know you tried to choke me to death with a carrier bag, which is an even bigger insult to Bryan Danielson than it is to anybody else.
Plastic bag.
Yeah. Yes, so I agree with you there. The thing that really irked me was the Wheeler Yuta heel turn.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to the Kyle Fletcher heel turn in that you've spent weeks playing up the idea that Wheeler Yuta is not like the rest of them. And I loved the notion of the trios champions all fighting each other because one of them suddenly doesn't agree with the ethos or mantra of the other two. I thought that was fantastic. And once again, it was inevitable that this was going to happen. And it happened without any real explanation or reason. It's like, he's been corrupted by the rest of them. It's like, no, he was corrupted a long time ago. He hasn't suddenly changed.
No.
It just doesn't make any sense. And they didn't try and explain it on Dynamite. They're just like, oh, what a horrible person he is. He turned on him. And like, no, it just doesn't make sense. There's no reason for this.
No.
I can't explain it.
Bad writing again.
Yeah. What was that line that Chris Jericho threw out a few years ago? It's like, bad creative by stupid people. Like, that's not it. I can't remember what it is.
It was a bad idea by bad creative.
Yeah, something like
that.
Yeah. I feel like we could have that on a button and say it every 3 seconds at the moment with AEW.
Yeah.
And I hate that because I just want to love everything that AEW is doing. Yeah. I can't.
You're making it hard for us to love you right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially considering how much wrestling there is out there and you are competing for eyeballs on your product.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to get better. You've just got to get better. I can't say any blunter than that. Especially when you're moving into a new TV rights contract. You're going to lose Rampage. Okay, cool. You're trying to get up a program somewhere else. Like, Fox aren't going to pay for whatever's happening on Dynamite and Collision at the moment. Why would they?
No.
Like, they've had record low ratings in the last few weeks, and that's got nothing to do with the time of year or anything like that, because the things that they compete with hadn't started yet. Like the NHL, that only started this week.
Yeah.
Like, the only time that they were competing was against NXT on last Tuesday, and they weren't even competing then. They were only competing for an hour of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just didn't even know that they'd moved to Tuesday. That's how much they paid attention and how much advertising that had happened to the fact they were on a different night.
Yeah.
It was barely mentioned. Just nobody is using any sense whatsoever in AEW, and it doesn't head in.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really know how to perk this back up to close.
No.
But, we've got Full Gear next month. Maybe things will be better by then. But let me say, if they're not, I'm not devoting an entire episode of this podcast to Full Gear if it's as bad as this was. And that's the annoying thing. This wasn't a bad pay-per-view. The matches were good. Everything else was nonsense.
Just bad creative.
Oh, this is a great question. Thank you for asking this, Magotti215, because this is another thing I'm going to rant about.
Oh, God.
Do you all think Shane is going to buy AEW? No. I don't think he's going to buy AEW. But let me tell you, if Shane McMahon is not the person behind this Jon Moxley BCC group, they need to burn AEW to the ground, because that is the only logical thing that is the end of this story. If it's not Shane McMahon, there is going to be no other good answer, and everyone is going to lose their minds at how terrible this whole idea was. So you better have Shane McMahon in your pocket, Tony Khan. Otherwise, prepare to lose your entire audience. Not because people want to see Shane McMahon or anything like that. Most people don't care about Shane McMahon in 2024. But when you have set this up, where the only logical answer to who is behind this group is Shane McMahon, to give us someone else is going to be like, oh, well, this was nonsense, wasn't it? Oh, and when I look deeper, everything else about this show is nonsense, and everything else that this company's done for the last year is nonsense too. I think I'll stop watching and I'll just stick with WWE or watch TNA or watch literally anything else. You better have Shane McMahon, Tony Khan. I swear to you. This better be Shane McMahon. And that's my final word. We both went for Jon Moxley. No, we didn't. We both went for Bryan Danielson. So we didn't get that point. We end on 11 to me, 8 to you. And the final scores on the doors coming out of WrestleDream are... I'm on 61. You trail a bit more once again on 55.
Yeah, I've gone down.
I feel like they try too hard. I want to agree with you. I also wonder if the opposite is true, and that they're actually just not trying enough.
They're not.
They're not succeeding, and it's a shame. I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
I'm covering the same ground.
Stop talking, because you're just repeating yourself.
Next week, we're going to talk about Zack Sabre Jr. as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Sabre bollocks.
We're going to get ready for Halloween with some Halloween Havoc preview. We can do that, can't we? Halloween Havoc is a week Saturday, right? It's not this weekend. Let's just double check that. Halloween Havoc is October 27th. Yeah, we're fine. We got next week to talk about it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're going to do that. And we're going to do a bit of New Japan talk, because they're coming to the UK, and that's going to be cool as well. Probably should talk some WWE next week as well. And maybe we just won't talk AEW at all, so that I can put the soapbox back in the corner of the room. Seems like a good idea. Okay. Until next time, I've been Jez.
I've been Dan.
This has been a massive, massive rant about AEW on the Main Event Podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.